Hi everyone, it's Monica, and welcome to day 6 of my 12 days of Christmas. Well, today we're going to be doing something fun. We're going to be creating a Christmas mini journal, but we're not going to be using Christmas paper. We're going to be using the correspondence paper from Tim Holtz, which I think is perfect for the holidays. I mean, when you think about the holidays, you think about Santa, letters, and post office. So I think the correspondence paper pack is perfect for a holiday journal. We're also going to be using some of the ephemera packs that came out this year, and we're going to be working with not only the bigger pack, but the smaller pack as well. And what I love about this ephemera pack is there is such a variety in this pack, and you get sizes that are bigger, smaller, of the same images, so there's so much you can do with these. And I love that you can get the big pack and the small pack, and they go perfectly together. I bought several of these because I love working with ephemera, and I know that scrapbook.com, I think, is having a sale right now on some of the Christmas items, so I'll make sure that I link everything below. And I also picked up several sheets of the 12 by 12 Christmas paper, which is what you use to make these little mini journals, and I got paper that is double-sided because that's really what works. And I love this heavy cardstock. It is just perfect for these mini journals. And one of the reasons that I picked up several of these is I am going to be putting kits together for you guys so you can make these little mini journals as well. Now, Cartabella has this really cute post office sheet, and unfortunately you have to fussy cut all of these little ephemera pieces, but it is so worth it because it really added to my little mini journal. So along with the Tim Holtz, I'm going to be using some of those little ephemera pieces that I've cut out to make my postal themed mini journal. Now, like I said, the paper set that I'm using is from the Tim Holtz correspondence set, and this by no means is a Christmas set, but it works fantastic for this mail mini journal. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that there's not just Christmas paper that will work for your holiday projects. You can certainly pull from your stash, and hopefully you'll be doing that as well. All right, so let me go ahead and show you how I put this journal together. Now, I think any one of these papers would have worked for my journal. So I just kind of flipped through and I ended up just picking one that I thought would work nicely. But as you can see, there's so many options here. So the paper that I ended up working with is this paper here that has red and white in it, and it has the typewriter and it has some letters. And then what I did is I just cut it in half, long ways, I guess that's the way to say it. And that way you'll have 2 pieces of paper, and then you're going to want to score it at 4 inches and 8 inches. Now you're going to need to make a decision here to decide what design on the paper is going to be for the inside and what design is going to be on the outside. And for me, I decided to have the letters and the busyness of the paper for the inside and then just have the red and white for the outside. So once you figure out exactly which part is going to be the inside, then you want to put them together just like I was doing here, and you're going to want to glue these. Now, when you glue them, the only part that you're going to glue is right where that fold line is because you're going to be creating some pockets. So you want to just get out your glue stick or your glue, whatever you're going to be using. You can use liquid glue, which is what I prefer because it has some movement, but you can also use your adhesive. And then you're going to just add your glue right to where the fold line is. And then once you have your glue, you're going to go ahead and put your pieces together and make sure that your top and your bottom is lined up evenly, and then just give it just a moment to dry. This Fabri-Tac glue that I've been sharing with you all week is perfect for these journals. It dries pretty quickly, but not so fast that you don't have time to move it around. And what I did when I was making this journal is once I had my pieces glued and dried, I want to make sure it was completely dry before I start folding my paper over. I consistently just kept folding my flaps over just to make sure that it was going to be even and it was going to be really easy to open and close. This journal, like I said, has several pockets and a few places you're going to have to add some glue, but you just want to make sure that it's lined up evenly, so that way when you actually go to close your journal, it's going to look like a book and it's not going to be lopsided. And then once your glue is completely dry, then it's not a bad idea to get your bone folder to just reinforce some of those folds. You want to make sure they're nice and crisp, and the bone folder is a good way to do that. Now you've already have your scored lines, so it's just a matter of folding over your pages and then taking your tool and reinforcing your folds. Okay, so once you have your 2 pieces of paper glued and you've reinforced your folds, then you want to go ahead and pull out a circle punch. Now, if you don't have a circle punch, this isn't a required step, but I really like to create my thumb notches, because when you're adding your ephemera into these pockets, especially deep pockets, it's always nice to have a little notch to be able to pull your ephemera easily in and out. And then once you've notched your pocket, then you're going to want to add your glue just like I did on the bottom and on the right hand side of your paper, and you want to glue it shut, and that's going to create your first pocket. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on the other side. Now the left side is also going to be a pocket, but it's going to be a pocket that is open from the side. And we're going to be gluing a couple of places here. Now again, I'm taking my circle punch and I'm just adding a thumb notch just because I like to do it. I think it looks good, and I also think, like I said, I like to have it to be able to easily pull out my ephemera. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to that top part, and then I'm going to have a little pocket on the outside, and then by adding some glue on the inside of the fold, I'll also have a pocket that is on the inside. So now we have 2 more pockets to add pieces of ephemera. Okay, now we're going to work on our middle pockets. Now our middle pockets are going to be half pockets, and this is the pocket that we glued on the side when we first started, when we added the pieces of paper together. And what you're going to want to do is score it right down the middle, and this is going to be at 3 inches because your paper is 6 inches long. So you want to score it, or just take a pencil and a ruler and make a line, so that way you have a guide to cut the paper in half. And this is going to create your 2 pockets in the middle. Now these pockets are really fun because they're flip pockets, so they can go either way. And I think they're really cute pockets, especially when we're going to add some envelopes to them and a little text. They're going to be really cute for your journal. So once you've added your notches like I did, you're going to go ahead and take your glue once again, and you're going to close off your pockets. And you're going to do this by adding glue on the top and the bottom of your paper, just as I did here. And you're going to do that to both sides. And then once that dries, your journal is pretty much put together. It's just a matter of decorating at this point. And honestly, decorating the journal is the funnest part, in my opinion. The journals do go together fairly easily, and you can sit down and create several in just one sitting. But like I said, I am going to have kits for you so you can create your own journals. So make sure that you look for the links below on these. All right, so let's go ahead and decorate this. As you can see, I've already started to add pieces of my ephemera to my journal. I used that special delivery from the Tim Holtz ephemera pack, and I put that on the left-hand side. And then I also started to put some of his ephemera in the pockets. Now, that big Christmas tag that you see on the left side of the screen is something that I created, and I'm going to be offering a sheet of flashcards, Christmas flashcards to you. So make sure that you stick around and get that coupon code at the end of the video so you can download it and use it for your journal. This coupon code is only going to be good through my 12 days of Christmas, so you want to make sure that you download it right away so that way you have it for your ephemera. All right, now when I decorate my journals, not only do I like to use reproduced ephemera, but I also like to use actual vintage ephemera. And I have some of these old ticket rolls that I found on, I want to say eBay, that I love to use in my projects. Now, if you've never worked with vintage ephemera, it is so fun to work with. I mean, it really adds to your projects. And these pieces are also going to be in the kit that I'm putting together. So not only will you have reproduced pieces of ephemera in your kit, but you're going to have actual vintage pieces as well. And as you can see, the pieces of ephemera from the Tim Holtz collection is just the perfect size for a little pocket. And I added some red line tape to the left and right side as well as the bottom to create my little mini pockets right on those flaps. Okay, now on the other side, remember we created that pocket that is going to hold longer pieces of ephemera. And I have the perfect piece to fit inside that little flap. I'm going to be cutting out a order blank that is a Wanna Maker Christmas book. And it's a Christmas order form, which is perfect to fit right inside of that little pocket. I've sized it down to work great for these little mini journals. And you're going to be getting this in the kits as well. Now, this little order form is perfect because, as you can see, there is some blank spots on the bottom. So you could easily write a little note to someone that you're giving this journal to. You can attach a gift card by folding up the part of the bottom and inserting a little gift card and even attaching it to the front of that pocket. There's a lot of things that you can do with that piece. You don't necessarily have to use it inside the pocket, but it certainly fits there perfectly. Now, of course, we don't want to leave the front of the pocket undecorated. So we're going to go ahead and create a mini flap here so we can add more ephemera to it. And any type of a square or even a rectangle, a piece of ephemera will work for your mini flap. When you're creating a flap, you want to just make sure that you don't do the add adhesive to the left side of your ephemera. You just want to add adhesive to the bottom and the right side, and then that way it kind of flips up a little bit so you can add your ephemera easily to stick out. And then after I finished adding my little tuck pocket, I added another label right on the top underneath that thumb notch, which is a little peppermint label. And the red and the white just is perfect because a lot of this ephemera that's in Tim Holtz's pack is, of course, red and white for Christmas. So this correspondence 12 by 12 piece of paper just matched perfectly. All right, so let's go ahead and start working on the left side of these half flaps. And this is a really fun little design. I wish I could take credit for creating it. I actually got it from another video, but she created little pockets to go on this side, and the pockets were just really cute because they were perfect size to add mini ephemera. And not only that, but it was the perfect size to be able to add a naughty and nice tag as well. And I'm going to show you how to make these little pockets here in just a minute. Okay, so to make these little envelopes, you're going to need to get a piece of paper that is about 2.5 inches wide and 4 inches long. And once you have your paper, then you're going to want to do some scores. You're going to want to score it at the, you're going to want to have your paper long, and you're going to want to score it left to right, 1 inch from the top. And then the second score is going to be at 1.5 inches. And then on the left side of each, you're going to score it about a half an inch, because that's going to be your flaps on the bottom. And what I would recommend is create a template, because that's what I did. And then that way I always have this template to be able to refer back to when I'm creating my little pockets. It just makes it a lot easier. And you can cut out several pockets at the same time. Now, I wanted to have my pockets match my book, so I ended up just using my craft cardstock envelope as my template, and then I'm going to cut out 2 envelopes to go on the top and on the bottom. And these quarter panels actually work perfect for my little envelope because they are the right sized of the images, so that way when I'm cutting my my envelopes, my images aren't distorted and they don't look too big. All right, now this is what I was saying about using a template. Once you have your cardstock, then you can easily just line up your brown or whatever color your template is. You can line up your template and then just cut. I know a lot of times we forget what our measurements are, and having a template is really nice because it goes really quickly. And then once I cut out my envelope, it was just a matter of scoring it and gluing the sides. Now, if you're the type of person that likes to give gift cards for Christmas, this little journal would be the perfect little case for a gift card. You can easily create this and add little pieces of, ephemera or notes, And then you can also add your gift card right in one of the little tucks. So you can not only create a little keepsake for someone during the holidays, but you can also use it functionally to hold your gift card. Now, this little journal set could also be used to house little note cards. So you can easily create several note cards to go into the pocket on the right-hand side. I think these would make great neighbor gifts. I think they would make great teachers gifts. There's just so many things or so many people that you could create these little journals for. Okay, so as you see here, I'm scoring as I indicated. You're going to go down the 1.5 line, and then you're going to fold it over, and then just make sure it's nice and crisp, because these are going to be little envelopes. And then once you have it scored over, you really have your line all ready for your flap that's going to go over the top. But if you do need to know what the measurements are, that's about 1 inch. And then once you have your score lines, then you can take your scissors and trim off the sides, so that way you have your little tabs to create your envelope. And then once you have everything trimmed and you have your little tabs, then it's just a matter of taking your adhesive and adding some glue, or even if you wanted to use your red line tape, that would be perfectly fine as well. But you're just going to want to add some sort of adhesive to close your envelope to make the little pouch. And then you're going to want to take your paper round, or your corner rounders, if you have a chomper or even just a corner rounder, and round the top of your envelope. This isn't required, but I think it's a nice little touch as well. And then after you've added your adhesives on the left and the right flap and glued your pocket, then you're ready to add some more adhesive on the back side so you can attach it to your journal. Now, remember, we're going to be having a flap that opens. So if you want to put any sort of ephemera or any sort of a stamp above your envelope, you want to place your envelope a little bit lower, so that way you have room to add a stamp or a piece of ephemera or anything you may want to add as an additional embellishment. And you're going to have 2 pockets. So after you finish adding your first pocket, then you want to do exactly the same thing for your second pocket. And that's going to go on the top flap. Now, I didn't bother recording the creating of the second envelope because it's the exact same process. You just want to make sure that you line it up, kind of make it, eyeball it, make sure that it is lined up. So that way it does look cohesive. And as you can see, these little pockets are just so cute. They fit, the ephemera fits in it perfectly. And you can just kind of go to town. I really think my favorite part of this journal is just adding little pieces of ephemera in the little pockets and the little tucks. I don't know. I just must be crazy because I just get such a kick out of it. And of course, I had to bring out my own little mini journal cards, which fit perfectly into these pockets and are also available in my shop. So if you do decide to buy the journal kit, you're going to get some of these cute little flashcards. But even if you don't want the kit, the flashcards are available in the shop as well. Okay, and like I said, these little flaps to close the envelope are just the perfect size for these little naughty and nice labels. And when I was putting this envelope together, I really didn't realize I was going to create these little naughty and nice labels. But as I kind of went along, I just thought, they would just be perfect. It just kind of finishes off the envelopes. But, you can put any sort of label. It could be maybe airmail or first class. Any type of label would be great. But I just really love the naughty and the nice, and it fit perfectly on my little flaps. So that's the way I decided to go. Okay, so now that we have our envelopes created and we've decorated the inside of our journal, I wanted to share with you another idea for adding a little bit more embellishment to your journal. And this is bringing out some of your stamps. Now, Stampers Anonymous, Tim Holtz, has a couple of stamps that would be perfect for this. Of course, you've got your Christmas post stamps, and then you also have a stamp set called Mail Art. But I love working with vintage stamps, and as you can see, I have a little bit of a collection. The wooden handle stamps are so fun to play with, and I have several that are kind of mail related. I think I showed you, I had one that said first class, and then I have one that says fourth class as well. I have one that says rush, and then I also have this airmail one. So there's a lot of ways that you can go with this. Now, if you like to create some or collect some of these old stamps as well, especially the ex-stamper ones, the ones that you see on the top of the screen, I have these available in my shop, and I'll make sure that I list those for you as well. And these are so fun for mail art. The Important, you've got Enclosure, Rush, and Fourth Class. And I have a few other stamps as well that you'll be able to check out in the shop. Now, the Airmail Special Delivery is one in my personal stash, and it is not for sale. It is mine. I'm sorry. It's one of my favorite stamps, and I love working with it on some of my projects. So using some of my vintage stamps, I just decided to stamp right into the inside of my journal. And I added that airmail stamp on the right-hand side, and then I'm going to use some of my X stampers. I think I ended up using the Important stamp, and I stamped that right above my envelopes. But you can certainly stamp these right onto some white cardstock as well. You can use these as the little flaps if you didn't want to use the naughty or nice. There's so many things you can do with these vintage office stamps, and they're a lot of fun to work with. Okay, so now that the inside of the mini journal is complete, let's go ahead and work on the outside. Now, on the outside, there's a couple of ways you can go with this. You can either create a little pocket and add more ephemera, but I ended up just adding some ephemera to decorate it. And I used the Shine Bright background tree piece, which was a larger piece of ephemera for the background, and then I used some foam tape to adhere my Santa just so he would pop up a little bit. And then on the top of the journal, I ended up using a special delivery sign to finish it off. And then once I was finished decorating the outside, for the most part, the journal was finished. I just ended up playing with it a little bit more to add more pieces of ephemera. Now, I am going to be selling these kits in my shop, so I'll leave a link below, and you're going to have several choices for your design of your journal. So if you are interested in making these journals, I'm going to give you everything you need. You're going to get your 12 by 12 paper already cut, ready to go. You're just going to need to glue it. And then you're going to get all the ephemera that you need to decorate your journal. So they're a lot of fun, and it really is a great journal to have, so that way you can copy it and make it over and over again. And as promised, I am going to give you the code so you can download a free flashcard, Christmas flashcards to add to your journal. And your coupon code is going to be Santa. So make sure you head over to the shop and download your free flashcard using the coupon code Santa. So as always, I'll leave a list of all the products that I've used to create the journal along with the links to the stores. Now remember, I am going to be selling these journals in my store, so be sure to check that out. And you're going to have lots of options for your journal cover. So check out the links below. If you've enjoyed my video, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. And y'all, I am trying to get my 6,000 mark, so if you could share my video with some of your friends, I'd certainly appreciate that. Now, don't forget to leave me a comment below, because I'm going to be using your comments for my drawing at the end of the series, where I'm going to be giving away one of these kits along with some of my digital items. Now, my next video will be coming out a day after tomorrow, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you have hit the little bell so you'll get notified when the video gets loaded. All right, everybody, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you the day after tomorrow.